Good evening. Today we are going to talk about the Tirpitz, the actual Tirpitz, right? Because yesterday we talked about the Scharnhorst. I said the mini Tirpitz, but this is the actual Tirpitz. It's a great ship. It really is. It's a really good ship. And again, another premium that I would tell you if you had the doubloons to get it, I would get her. She's an awesome captain trainer for the Curve First, and in my opinion, she plays very much like the Curve First. They're gross, a little bit different beast. She's actually a little less tanky, in my opinion, tier for tier, than the Tirpitz is. This thing plays just like a Curve First. So let's talk about armor here. She's pretty tanky. You have to work pretty hard to get to her citadels. So I normally don't bring up the armor layouts, but I wanted to show you just real quick. That's not what I wanted. Where her citadel sits. Barely above the water, right? Do you see her citadels? The main punishing area where you'd hit a battleship. Okay, she's got some beastie armor, and she's got a pretty good turtleback on top of all that, right? So the reason I bring this up is because things to keep into consideration when you're playing the Tirpitz. Okay, when you turn, right, your ship leans, and that is prime time for someone to get citadels in. And if they get plunging fire from this angle, land along this part of the deck, I've seen citadels occur. So typically, I'm very careful with my turns. If I am focusing on an enemy and I know they're about to fire at me, I look for their salvos. Wait till they fire, then turn. Because if they catch you in a turn, you're pretty. And this is what all the Germans, by the way, from the Genesee up, you need to be careful with this because of where the citadel lies. The penetration on the upper decks is actually pretty easy, so you have to be careful in those turns. So let's talk about guns real quick here, okay? And actually, let me backtrack a little bit. We talked about the armor a little bit. Tanking for the ship, it actually can bow tank pretty good. I found I engage at an angle similar to this, where I'm rolling my bow back and forth to use my aft guns. I don't typically like to bow tank the turret just because you only got four barrels firing, and quite frankly, I like to have the ability to shoot all 8 if possible, or even 6. So that's just something to think about in your tactic. Just remember, if you're sitting at this angle and you're shooting the aft guns, you need to realize this section right here that's kind of the forward end of the bow, you're flush. So you need to roll that bow back when you're in a reload so that it's an angled piece of armor, right? Anyway, so let's talk about guns. Primary, she's got 8 380 millimeter guns. These guns are amazing. I have citadeled the living piss out of Iowas and Montanas with these guns. Very, very good penetrating value. These are actually pretty accurate guns for German guns. I really have to say the Tirpitz has some phenomenal guns. Her secondaries, she's got. This is the first ship in warships that had extremely long range secondaries. Okay, they are just awesome. They got pretty good rate of fire. You've got 8 dual mount 105s, and then you've got 6 dual mount 150s. The 150s, with a full on secondary build, you'll get them out to 11.3, and that's with a flag, mind you. 11.3, right, for both these secondaries, with a 6% chance and a 9% chance of fire. Okay. HE coming from the 150s and the 105s. For some reason, I thought one of them fired AP, but I guess not. So that's pretty good, and the rate of fire is 6.4 seconds. These secondaries are pretty good with the secondary build. Very, very adept for chewing up cruisers or destroyers, especially if you get 2 of you working in tandem. Okay, AA protection, not bad, right? 12 single mount 20 mils, 8 quad mount 20 mils, 8 dual mount 37s, and then 8 dual mount 105s. That's dual purpose 105s with your secondaries. So and again, secondary build with range on the AA, you get it out to 5.4, not the best, but this thing punishes aircraft at mid range when they're in around 4 kilometers, right before they're getting ready to drop torpedo bombs or bombers are getting ready to line up to dive. So she moves along pretty good, 30.5. Rudder shift time, standard German, kind of slow, but 12.8, still moves pretty quick. Don't care about detectability, as we've talked about on multiple occasions. That's just me, though. Let's talk about upgrades, okay? So it was brought to my attention actually with the Scharnhorst video, and it was very, very uh, good that they brought that up. That I had main armament mod on here, and to be honest with you, nowadays the main armaments don't seem to get knocked out as often as they used to, and it does make sense in a secondary build to actually put the auxiliary armaments mod on. It definitely keeps AA mounts and your secondaries alive longer, right? Standard DC1, secondary mod 2, right? Decreases dispersion, increases range. It's good for secondaries, your rudder shift, and then your concealment. Very important. So with the Tirpitz, you don't get a spotter aircraft, or you can't have a spotter aircraft, excuse me. I found the AA protection to be needing more. The reason I have that is if you hover over the guns, you'll see the range on there, right? Firing against 21 kilometers already. I don't need to fire out to 25. You don't need that, okay? And the gun arcs aren't sufficient enough to where you're going to be lobbing over mountains a whole lot. No point, in my opinion. So I put the fighter on there. The fighter, if anything, it helps disperse bombs and or torpedoes coming in, right? Standard repair party, standard DC, pretty normal. And then flagged it up and everything, right? Pretty good ship. Plus she's beautiful, man. Look at her. Look at her bow on. Look at that. Look, just a beast. Love it. Anyway, let's get some gameplay.
So, I don't know how many times I reflected before the really good video showcasing the battle typically. But there are 5 destroyers in the battle to be shown in the series, and up now, but so, at the beginning of this battle, I tell the destroyers off to my right, or it's more meant for them, that I'm going to get my secondaries in range. Uh, I figure they're going to go pretty well anyways, and just get my secondaries covering that gap and help them out. So I'll tell you right now, this Yuki driver, he's not the best destroyer driver. Okay, at one point you'll see it in a minute. He gets spotted. He goes in a cap first off, trying to cap. You do not cap in Japanese systems. Unless you're the Harakaze or the Akatsuki, where you can kind of run and gun, do not cap Japanese. Just the way it is. You're meant to wait until stuff is spotted, or the battle can go on for a while. Then you can. Don't go into it. Okay? So what happens in a minute here is this Ibuki's going to go into the cap. He's going to get spotted by an enemy Fushu. The enemy Fushu is going to be spotted by him. They're both going to smoke, and they're going to fill that entire cap, rendering everything down by me. You can't see it. And then that Suzuki driver is going to basically tell the team what they need to do. So right, it's already shoot at them, of course. So we can't necessarily engage once you want to engage. And then eventually you start playing the whole battle game, whatever. Which battle is barely even good, but anyway. So here we are. We're going to keep pushing. So right about now, the Fushun and him are going to spot each other. There they go. So the Suzuki dumps one launcher of torp and then starts smoking immediately. Right? And I think, I don't know, maybe he got mad because he realized he screwed up or whatever because he lost almost half his points. He drags that smoke all the way over to the island and then proceeds to tell the team to kill the cruiser. Like, obviously, we could see the cruiser. I launched my fighter in order to hopefully see something over the smoke. Put the secondaries in the surrogate and fire at the Bismarck. Bismarck's going broad. Take a good chunk off him. I slow down here because I wasn't really sure what we wanted to target. Bismarck is starting to pull away. The New Orleans is pulling away. So I'm like, okay, let's speed back up. Farragut's back up again. Secondary's going to reset him. I see that Tirpitz and the Genis over here, so I target the Tirpitz because the Tirpitz is more broad than the Genis. So I go ahead and I fire at the Tirpitz as I go around the mountain here. Secondaries work Farragut. Now, at this point, I'm thinking that Fushun smoke should be ending fairly soon, so I go a little more broad than I probably want to. But then I spot the Fushun momentarily. He's headed toward that island, so I'm like, oh crap, okay. Secondaries on the Fushun as soon as he pops up. Fire the primaries, fire the secondaries, and then start rotating my bow in. Okay. We're to keep turning in, try to get the profile down. Don't have to worry about the torpedoes so much. I see that Genis coming around the corner. He's actually slow boating. I think he's doing like maybe half speed. So it's like perfect for this ship. So I'm going to go ahead and pop at him. Here's the first set, second set, torpedoes. Pop off at the Genis. So at this point I kind of screw up because I'm undecided whether I need to stick my secondaries on the Genis or stick with the Fushun, because the Fushun's going to continue to blink in and out. Realistically, I should have left my secondaries just on the Fushun and not changed them, but, you know, whatever. Remember, your secondaries have to rotate just like your regular turrets do, so moving them back and forth, you're actually lowering your rate of fire on the secondaries. Just keep that in mind. So I'm actually going to slow down right here, help take the cap. Come left a little bit. Here, Ender Player 2, right, our wonderful Fubuki over there, the Indy 1214. He's actually laying smoke right now. Why it's not rendering right now, I don't really know, but he starts laying smoke from the mountains. He's got some grand scheme to torp all of those guys over there. So he lays torps. The Tirpitz is actually going to go invisible as a result of his smoke. Right? So at this point I got really annoyed because the Tirpitz was broad to me. I could have really wrecked him. So I angrily tell that Fubuki quit freaking smoking for the enemy. But he knows better than everyone, so you'll see his response. We're down 3 destroyers already. I'm getting a little concerned here because I'm taking fire from the north side, right? The destroyer over here, the cruiser over there, and then the Bismarck right here, and in front of me. I pop off at the Genis. So now I'm like, okay, I need to head south. Got the corpse coming right there. Thank God they missed. The Fubuki driver knows better than I do, saying that we're going to lose, and that the battleships don't know how to aim or use their guns. Whatever. I keep shooting at this Genis because I'm like, he's low on health. Surely we can take him out before I go behind the mountain. Torpedoes coming in from the Tirpitz, not a big deal. I'll get one more, I think, the Afghan salvo off at him. And then I spot this guy right here. Low health Genis. I'm like, oh, hello. So I start angling a little bit. Was almost thinking about torping, but I was like, no, I won't do that because he's out of range. Then I see the Farragut. Didn't have time to put secondaries on the Farragut. I had already put the secondaries on the Denise. We'll go ahead and line the primary guns up on him. And I start angling in because I know that Farragut is right there. I switch secondaries to the Farragut. I'm going to fire my primary weapon forward to the Farragut, and I'm like, well, I can kill that guy with the half gun, so I'm going to go ahead and fire at the Ganese to finish him off with the half gun. Then I'm going to turn to get all my secondaries on a Farragut as best I can. Right? Got the corpse coming in. Pretty much thank God nobody can seem to aim on their team with torpedoes either. So I just stay broad. I know this is counterintuitive, but this puts the most secondaries on target, right? So I'm just going to town here. The Farragut's going to start smoking. I don't know if he rolled out of smoke or what happened here, but he gives me just enough time for me to target my forward guns on him. And blind shot him. Right there. Just enough time. Blind fire him. Kill him. Right about then the Mayhem pops up. Lock secondaries on the Mayhem. And pay attention to the angles I'm driving at these destroyers at too, by the way. It's actually pretty optimal, the angles I'm driving at, to be able to turn in if torpedoes are spotted. Kind of keep their tail at your bow almost, especially the angle that they're driving away. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, surely he's going to force me to come in here. He's got 6,800. I fire my aft salvo. And boom! Fantastic. There's the torpedoes for me. So at this point I'm like, oh, there's a Belfast to my left, Colorado to my right. So I put my secondaries on the Belfast, and I drive dead middle between both of them. So I want my primary battery to be up on the Colorado. Okay? I do some stack docking, of course. That's how I do it. I had noticed I swapped it to HE at one point. I think that was for the destroyer earlier. I switched back to HE. As many other unit contributors or whatever say, it seems like whenever you swap ammunition, that's when you need it to not for those, right? So now I'm pushing ahead. I'm just gonna tank him. We're gonna fire at that Colorado. Unfortunately, he went behind the island, which is great for me, by the way, because that lends the left fire coming into me. And I'm like, okay, so we're gonna push in to this smoke, right? We're gonna push this Belfast. Who thinks he's being sneaky. He's staying hidden. So I've got my AT loaded. I'm ready to go. Not worried about torpedoes, right? Belfast doesn't have torpedoes. And looky! At 5 kilometers, because he fired at me in smoke, he's lit. The secondaries are on him. Forward salvo, not the best. Half salvo. Wonderful. Secondary still working. And we obtain our 4th kill. So now, I'm out for blood. Now I'm gonna get this freaking Colorado, right? So we angle in. We got a little more bow. Get my health boost going. I look over here to try to sneak a kill in on the Bismarck. You know, not the best aiming. I think I snap fired. The Denise took the kill there. So now, unfortunately, I'm going to reload. But this Colorado, I'm like, okay, here we go. We're going to get this. Okay. I push it. There's a Gajamada in B somewhere. And I was pretty sure, actually I was a little worried that he was pushing me. So it is what it is. I'm looking. Yeah, buddy, you're at close enough range. It's torpedo time. Dump my torpedoes, because he was in a slight turn. I aimed a little bit ahead. Line up the primaries and let him leash. There's a nice double citadel there. 28,000 damage dealt. Let the secondaries go to town. I'm not going to stay broad. I'm not going to allow him to get shots on me. This angle's perfect, by the way, for the German armor. 2 torpedoes on him. Secondaries, get him. Cracking him loose. 41 secondaries on him. So now we're going to push north. Right about the time the Gajamada dies. Throw my fighter up. I don't know why I threw my fighter up. I think I was worried about corpse coming from B, maybe. So at this point, the battle's pretty much over. It's done, right? Because we're driving nowhere near being able to shoot at the Guinea. I'm not close enough to take B. I'm not close enough to hit A. The team kind of giving the Fushun on our team shit for following me around. I think it was a nice play. It was nice having a little buddy follow me around. But, his friend died up there, still in C, believe it or not, so Kabuki. Here shortly, the Mogami is going to take out, I think, there you go. That's the game, pretty much. So, pretty good battle.